Welcome, everybody, to your May 2025 angel messages and overall energy update. We have some great messages coming through for all of you and some really fun energies. So, we're going to be doing an overall view with my Celtic cross. Plus, I'm doing a unique reading on relationships after the Celtic cross. So, you're going to want to stay tuned to that. And at the very end, as always, I will be doing your bonus messages that will give you actions to take to get started on this energy right now at the time you're hearing these messages. I do always say a prayer protection, asking that I'm only connecting with God's highest vibrational beings and that these messages find you when it's in your highest interest. So welcome here, because there are messages here from your spiritual team. This is not just your guardian angels and archangels and spirit guides, but also passed away loved ones, spirit animals, and other high vibrational beings that are on your spiritual team. Now, one thing I want you to make sure you do is grab your journal and write down some of the dates I want to point out to you coming up. Write down any messages that come through for you while you're listening to this. If you think about people, if you think about items and vacations or anything that comes across your path, give your future self the gift of hindsight by writing down anything that resonates with you. It's so valuable. One of the most powerful tools for deepening your connection with your spiritual team is tracking your intuition and developing that language so you know what it means whenever these messages come through. So I'm going to be giving you these dates, and I also highly encourage you, if you haven't before, to try tracking your moods with these dates as well and your productivity. For years, I have tracked things in my journal under what I call a routine record that allows me to see the different things that are going on in my life and the way the energies affect me so that I can see when I'm being productive and when I'm not. So that's why I go over these overall energies with you in these dates, because when I tracked my moods and my productivity and my creativity with the lunar cycles, my whole world opened up. That's what led me into tracking numerology and then eventually learning astrology. So you don't need to know anything about astrology. I just encourage you to write down these dates that I have for you here. I'll be going through them right at the top, so you can come back as many times as you want and put them in your journal. You don't have to have this journal. This is the one I sell on Amazon that teaches you how to track your signs and symbols from your angels. It comes with a 4-part webinar, but you can use any journal you want. I just encourage you to make sure it's all in one place so that you can easily go back and reference it. Like I said, give your future self that gift of hindsight. It's so powerful. So I'm going to give you these dates here, then we'll go into the overall energy. And like I said, I'm doing a unique reading on relationships for all of you. And this is going to be different than my all signs readings, which I do every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central, which, by the way, at the time I'm recording this video, this Wednesday, I have my good friend Chris Reck from Minnow Pontero coming back for an all signs reading on April 30th at 11 a.m. Central right here. It will be live. I hope you can join us. If you can't, just go back and watch the recording, because this is going to be a powerful one we're doing this time next year, which is a 6-month follow-up from the one we did last October. I encourage you to go listen to that one as well, because it's funny, all the energies and shifts we've had. When we did the one last October, we were doing it around the new moon in Scorpio. And at the time of this recording, we just had the new moon in Taurus. So it's a good cyclical thing to check in every 6 months with the energy and see what's coming up. So make sure you're writing down anything that resonates with you. Okay, so let's hop into these dates, and then we're going to go into the Celtic cross so you can see what's coming up for you with this energy. So the first date I would like for you to jot down on your calendar would be May 2nd. This is when Mars is finally out of shadow. We had such a long retrograde with Mars retrograding out of Leo, back into Cancer, and then back through again. Mars does not like being in Cancer. It was a challenging energy for most people, and it already is challenging anyways, because Mars prefers a fire sign like Leo over the watery sign of Cancer. So you should already be feeling Mars direct now, but it's going to feel even better, like a breath of fresh air on May 2nd. So mark that on your calendars. And if you are new to astrology, shadow just simply means the degrees that it retrograded through and then went direct. So basically, it has now moved past the degree that it retrograded when it is out of shadow. Now, moving on to May 4th, we have Pluto retrograde. So we didn't get much of a reprieve from the retrograde. So we only had a tiny period of time where we have all these planets direct, and still Mars and Venus were in shadow and Mercury until recently. So it still doesn't feel like it's moving forward. And then you're going, well, now we have another retrograde. But this is going to be still a move forward, because this is going to be an internal transformation. Remember, Pluto brings transformation, and you're going to want to be doing some deep self-reflection over this time period. So it's going to be really valuable to take some extra space over the next few months for some internal self-reflection on a deeper level about things that you've faced over this year so far. So mark that on your calendar for May 4th. May 10th, we have Mercury moving into Taurus. So this will be a good energy, a grounding energy. This will be positive for manifestation, using your words to create things. So mark May 10th down. The next big date I want you to make sure you remember will be May 12th. And that's because this is a full moon in Scorpio, and it's at the volatile degree of 22. 22 is a very powerful transformational number. I've studied numerology for many years, and then I've seen it play out in astrology as well. And one thing I had to note here is I'm on Central Time, and it's actually happening at 11:55 a.m. Central in my time zone. So that's another angel number for me. If you haven't checked out my angel number series, I have a ton of videos on angel numbers. 22 is one of them, 222, and then of course 1111 and other numbers like that. So whenever I see repeating numbers, it means something significant for me because I develop this language with my spiritual team by tracking the meanings and symbols and then using hindsight to interpret it. So write down that powerful full moon because you're going to want to be paying attention to your moods around this time, the things that are transforming and the things that are releasing to create space for something new. Now on May 16th, we have Venus out of shadow. So you should already be feeling that energy, but it's just something to note that you will begin to see things open up for you more. You will begin to feel the luxury and receive more in a more fluid way. May 20th, we have Sun into Gemini, so we'll start to really feel that social energy there. Right now, at the time I'm recording this video, happy birthday to the Tauruses. It's your Taurus season, and then we'll move into Gemini on May 20th. Happy birthday, Geminis. I hope you're planning lots of fun and celebrations. You deserve it. We all need to be celebrating all year long our lives, right? May 24th, we have a powerful transit of Saturn moving into Aries. So we haven't seen this since the late 90s. I want to say it was like 96 to 99. I don't have the exact dates right in front of me, but think back to that time period. What was it like? What was going on for you? You may see similar patterns, but what's going to be different is this time we have Neptune in Aries. Remember in April, Neptune moved into Aries and none of us have seen this in our lifetime. So to have Neptune and Saturn there will be very unique than to something we've ever experienced. Also, they will both retrograde back to Pisces later this year, so it's just a little bit of a preview of what it's going to be like. So make sure you're writing down your dreams, the symbols, the things you're getting through this time period. Then the final date I want to point out is May 25th, where we have Mercury in Gemini. And that's going to be a really fun energy too, because Mercury loves being in Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. It's a very social time. We have the new moon. So I said the final date was Mercury in Gemini, but I had forgotten to put in my notes the powerful new moon in Gemini, May 26th. So definitely put that in your calendar too. I find that during the new moon leading up to the full moon, I tend to be very productive. And then the full moon apex leading to the new moon, while it's waning, I tend to need to rest more. I need to reflect more. I need to organize things. And I encourage you to track this for yourself. See what works for you. So just remember those key dates there that as we build towards this full moon on May 12th, you may feel extra motivated, extra energized, and then you may find that after the full moon, you're rethinking things, you're reorganizing, and you're releasing things that are getting in your way. So it can be really powerful, but with the Gemini energy, you will get some clarity as well. So I'm really looking forward to the energy of this month. We're definitely going to jump into the overall energy here, and I'm excited to do a new spread. My angels tapped me on the shoulder today and said, not today, actually, it was over the weekend. I've been thinking about this for the past week. It's time to start thinking about different ways of approaching these divine messages so we can all understand the way our team communicates with us. So we're trying different methods out. So like I do in my all signs readings, I go through all 12 signs and I encourage you to listen to all 12 signs because you have them all in your chart, whether you know astrology or not, whether you have a planet there or not. But in this message, we're not going to do it that way. We're going to break it down over relationships. And I'm going to be bringing in a new way of using these card decks. So let's jump into the overall energy first. And that way we can make sure we get an understanding of the key things about May here. As always, we'll be doing some pocket affirmations and we will be looking for themes here. But since you did have that opportunity there to write those dates down, which by the way, I will timestamp that part with the overall energy so you can come back and listen to different parts as many as you times as you'd like to. But let's go ahead and switch over to these to your Celtic cross that I have all ready for you here. So, like I said, make sure you are grabbing your journal to write down anything that resonates with you. And let's get started with the overall energy for May. The first card we have here in the heart of our spread is the Page of Earth. Well, this is perfect for the Taurus energy we are starting off May with, because we are in Taurus at the first half of May, or first part of May, until I believe I said the 20th was when we move into Gemini. So this says scholarly, dependable, patient, successful, good news about financial matters, wanting to do something more challenging, a new area of study. Okay, so as we move into May, you are being asked to invest in your skills. Is there something you've been wanting to learn more about? Have you had your eye on an online course? Have you wanted to try something different with your spiritual routine or your spiritual practices? Well, this is the time to get started, especially with this manifestation energy here. And the angels are acknowledging that you've already thought of something that you would like to learn more about, and they want to give you guidance on how to go about that. So let's see what's coming up in the challenge crossing energy. It's not necessarily challenging, but it's something to think about. Wow, we have the Hermit card. Spend quiet time in quiet meditation, spiritual teachings, and self-discovery. This coming up in this location means you know what it is that you want to invest your time and energy in, but you're having a hard time finding time to do it. Maybe those around you are too distracting. Maybe you feel too busy at work. Maybe you're having internal conflict about how others will view you if you take time away to do this self-discovery. But the angels are encouraging you to do this right away from the beginning of this May. That may mean you're starting to plan some time away where you take yourself on a staycation, or you take yourself somewhere by yourself where you can do this self-reflection. So let's dive into this guidance to get a little bit more understanding of how we can make this happen for all of us. In the root of our spread, we have the Knight of Air. I love this. So this is the unknown thing that is coming up for us. It's either in our subconscious and we need to bring it forward, or it's coming in for us soon and we just don't know it yet. It says intelligent, decisive, idealistic, tireless, events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options, creative solutions. Now, what I'm getting with this card, because I don't read literally, I read intuitively. When I see this, what I'm seeing is there is a creative solution for you finding this time for self-discovery. There is a way to do the things you need to do, be responsible, keep moving forward with your projects, but also still have that quiet time alone for self-discovery, for taking those courses, for doing things to invest in your future and the things that your heart wants. So there is a creative solution coming in where you can create a win-win-win scenario, and that's going to be really valuable as we move through the energy of May. We're going to be looking for those win-win-win scenarios. Speaking of win-win-win scenarios, I learned about that viewpoint from my good friend Chris Reck from Minnow Pontero, who will be right here on this channel this Wednesday, April 30th at 11 a.m. Central live. We're doing all signs. We're doing this time next year. Definitely check it out. If you can't make it live, watch the recording, because 6 months ago, we did this time next year for the new moon in Scorpio. We just had the new moon in Taurus at the time of this recording, so we're doing 6 months from. We're doing this time next year for the new moon in Taurus. So you're definitely going to want to check it out. You're going to want to go back and watch that new moon in Scorpio one that we did in October for this time next year. Write down anything that resonates, and you're going to want to do it for this video because it'll help you with planning for the future. One of the big things we keep getting for all of our angel messages is you want to think about your 5-year plan and then back into the current moment. So where do you see yourself 5 years from now with your health and fitness, your career, or in finances? Maybe you're retiring, maybe your legacy, or your romantic and other relationships. Those are the things that you want to be thinking about. What do you see for yourself 5 years from now, then 3 years from now, then 1 year from now, because we're doing this time next year. What are things you can do right now in May to get you started with that? So this is really, really valuable time to be thinking about that, especially with this Taurus energy and all the things that are coming up for us. So I encourage you to be thinking about those things right now. And we're going to be looking for those win-win-win scenarios. So the reason I brought that up is because Chris Reck used to talk about that a lot when we were waiting for Pluto to finally move into Aquarius for its final stay for a long time. And he would talk about how Pluto is about us looking for win-win-win scenarios. So it's not just about it being a good deal for both parties, but it being a good deal for the collective. Everybody benefits from it. So let's go back to your Celtic cross here, and let's see what's going on for your recent past. Wow, we have the Empress from your recent past. It says, lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. So recently you've been doing something to really nurture yourself, to make yourself more attractive to the world, to nurture the things that your heart wants. And you are being congratulated by your spiritual team for focusing on that. The main thing to keep in mind, though, is you do need to hold space for this. And the angels see where you felt challenged to find time to do these things, but you are going to be finding this creative solution to making time for that self-discovery, making time to advance your skills and invest in the things that your heart wants. So let's see what's coming up for your present energy for May here. Wow, we have the Queen of Air. I love this for May, especially with the Gemini energy we are going to have with Mercury moving there. Sun will be in Gemini by the end of the month. It says independent experience, realistic, witty, objective decision making, clearing away what no longer serves you, and seeing the humor in a situation. All right, so essentially right now, you need to be looking at your calendar, you need to be looking at your to-do list and letting go of the things that are getting in the way of this self-discovery. Is there some group you committed to a while ago that you don't resonate with anymore? Is there some project that just isn't going the way you want and your heart's not in anymore? Is there some relationship that's getting in the way of you working on yourself? These are the things that need to be cleared away right now at the time of these messages. Now, we are currently in this energy of moving towards the full moon. So it's a good time to take action right now until we get to that full moon on May 12th, where you will be actually releasing things. So a very basic example might be, maybe you know it's time to finally leave your job. So right now you're putting in your 2 weeks notice, and by the time we get to May 12th, you're releasing that job and you're moving on. That's just a basic example, but there are things that you may need to take action on releasing right now, and planning how you're going to use that time for self-discovery. So I am seeing for a lot of you, this is planning some kind of trip or a staycation where you're blocking out your calendar. You're telling your family and friends, hey, unless it's an emergency, don't contact me. I'm going to spend the next few days doing this self-discovery. There's definitely something that you need to take action on right now. Maybe you need to sign up for a spiritual retreat, or just plan that time away from the hustle and bustle of your busy day schedule and make sure you're using that time for that self-discovery, because there is something you need to really invest in right now. And you've got to tell people around you, hey, this is what I'm going to do. So it may mean having that heart-to-heart conversation with a loved one and saying, look, I know we always do this schedule. I know we always go to this place at this time, or we're always meeting up with this group of friends, but I need a break because I need to work on my self-discovery. I need more time to do the things that my heart wants to do and focus on creating that. So let's see what's coming up in your near future. This will help us guide us on how to handle this energy. And don't forget, we will go into much deeper detail with the relationships part of this reading in a minute. 2 of water. Okay, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, the positive resolution of a conflict. So because we have the Queen of Air card here in the present energy, it means that by having these heart-to-heart conversations with someone in your life, who's the first person that popped into your mind, this is going to help you grow closer. Now, for some of you, this may mean releasing a relationship so you can grow closer to your spiritual team. You can spend more time with your relationship to something your heart wants. When I talk about relationships, I'm not just talking about 2 people, but a lot of times we don't realize that we are allowing relationships to people to get in the way of our relationship to our health, our relationship to our goals and our wishes. But by having these heart-to-heart conversations, you're either going to be taking a relationship to a new level, or you are going to be attracting a new partnership that's going to help you get there. So really, really exciting time, really great energy for that. Like I said, with the energy we have coming up with these transits in May, you are going to want to be social, to connect with people you resonate with. Find that group of people who support you and support your views. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Now let's go into your personal power here so we can do a fantastic pocket affirmation. We have the Knight of Air. Oh, I love this for your personal power. Passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. A sudden event that needs attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. So This card is, again, in this position, this card is representing your personal power, and I'm not reading this intuitively, but it is a matter of slowing down before you take action. It's a matter of responding, not reacting to things. It is about following your passions, though. So let's do a pocket affirmation right now. If you want to write it in the comment section below. I easily find time for my passions. I easily find time for my passions. This is your pocket affirmation for May, because this is the very heart of our spread here about investing in the things your heart wants. Now, for some of you, this could be you are finding time for your relationships. Maybe you've been working too much on a project. You've been too busy with other things, and it's time to finally slow down and take time to be with that loved one. But you need to find time for it. You need to hold space. One of the things that I teach in my webinar that comes with this journal is how to hold space for things that are important to you. And it really is about making it a priority and not feeling bad about it. You're putting your priorities first, and then you're asking your spiritual team for help getting things done. So speaking of help for getting things done, let's go to the external factors here. I will straighten out these cards if you want to get a screenshot in a minute. Once we finish going through them, in the external factors, we have this 3 of Air card. It says, great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. Okay, so this is coming up in the external factors card. So it could be that this conversation you're having right now in this present energy, it might bring up a little hurt feelings for other people around you. You might see people around you reacting from a past wound. Maybe you're saying to them in a very loving way, hey, I just need a little more alone time. And they're going back to their past relationships where they felt abandoned, and they're reacting in a harsh way. Maybe there's been a conversation that didn't go so well in the recent past, and it's time to do the forgiveness and work on forgiveness and healing that. Ask for forgiveness or forgive this other person. But there is something from your recent past that needs to be healed that could be holding you back from really investing in this future. So it could be a past relationship. It could be a past rejection. It could be something from your childhood where you felt very vulnerable. Something in your external world, if you focus on healing that, that will help you with holding space for these new creative projects. So let's see what's coming up in your hopes and fears. We have the Sun card. All right, so this is the card I call the 2 sides of the same coin. You're either afraid this is going to happen, or you're hoping it's going to happen, or both, and it's usually both. We have the Sun card here. Happy outcome, brilliant new ideas that lead to success. Have confidence in yourself. So this is where it's like, well, if I really put myself out there in the big way, will the spotlight be on me? Well, I don't want to do all this and not have the spotlight, but if I do all this and the spotlight's on me, what does that mean for my relationships? What does that mean for my responsibilities? How does that affect my entire world? So it can be a card of not only fear of failure, but a fear of success. And they are saying that really what your heart wants is to be in the spotlight. I always like to share with you, you're here watching this video because you are a light worker. It doesn't mean you have to call yourself that. You don't have to have a business card. You don't have to have a shingle that says that, but you are here to shine your light with the world. And sometimes we get a little afraid of what that means. What are the changes we have to make in order for our light to shine? And they are saying right now in this present energy, there are things you need to clear away in order for your light to shine. Another thing I'm hearing is some of us have in these external factors here with this 3 of Air card, there's something dimming your light. Maybe it's the fact that you need to forgive yourself for decisions in the past. Maybe it's you need to release a relationship who is holding you back. Maybe there's somebody who is telling you you can't shine. This is where you need to focus on what your heart wants, because this is going to help you with getting to the final outcome, which let's see what we have for our final outcome card, and then I'll straighten all this up so you can take a screenshot if you want. We have the 7 of Water. A complex decision, the need to do some research, stop procrastinating. All right, stop procrastinating. You've got a lot of options here. It's time to invest. So I actually really like this card for the outcome. It essentially means there are so many pathways you can take this month. You need to stop procrastinating, slow down, have these important conversations, look to see what do you need to learn next. Is there a class you can take? Is there a YouTube series you can follow? Can you get out there and apply it in an actual way? This is like, I like to tell the story about when I left my small small business consulting practice. I was using my accounting degree for 16 years for a very left brain type of work. And I decided to come fully into this intuitive work after a dream from my grandmother. I have a story time about that on my channel. But I was told to get to work on this work, my light working, my purpose, which is to activate you as a light worker and share these divine messages. And when I started actually applying it, things really shifted. Now, how did I do that? I stopped hiding in the spiritual closet. Instead of just doing secret readings for friends and family behind closed doors, I went to a local healing arts festival. I rented a table and I gave readings. This is getting out there. This is getting in the sun, out in the sun. And there were so many ways for me to share my gift. And I had to try them out. I had to figure out, where do I feel comfortable going and doing this? Where do I feel safe? How do I want to do it? So this is actually super, super positive outcome that you have here. Let me go ahead and switch it so you can get some screenshots here. But I want you to think about the fact that if you have the conversations you need to have right now, you are actually going to bring in these new opportunities that are going to allow you to shine. They're going to allow you to have all these options. And then once these options come through, you're going to have to take the time to do the research. So here is your overall energy. Now let's switch over to the new spread I'm going to be doing for all of you for these monthly messages. While I'm pulling these cards, they're already shuffled and ready to go, but I did want to quickly remind you, I do have a community membership right here on YouTube where every month I go live with my community members and I do detailed custom messages. And this month we're going to be doing all 12 signs bonus May messages. Plus we always have a topic. So I think it's important to consider, where do you feel that you are surrounded by like-minded people? If you want to check that out, just click the join button below and you can see what we have coming up, because I also do bonus messages for my community there. And it's really fun to see how detailed the messages get, because we're doing it very specifically for the community. And so I wanted to mention that because I'm always trying different spreads and doing, like I said, I will be doing all 12 signs May angel messages for the community if you did prefer the all signs. So that's why we're changing it up a little bit here. I'm going to move my candle so you can see all the cards. So this is a very different reading from what I've been doing in the past. They wanted me to do it this way. Whoops. They told me how to do this, and then I was talking and didn't do it the way they told me to. Yeah, they wanted it like this. That's right. If you're wondering why I'm saying they, I'm talking about my spiritual team. They will often communicate with me. Hang on just a second. Let me get this where you can see it all. I'll make sure I scoot this in so you guys can see it. But when you hear me say they, I'm talking about my spiritual team, which is my angels, my spirit guides, spirit animals, my higher self, passed away loved ones. And I get a lot of communication through visions. They'll pop an image in my mind that'll catch my attention, and I'll have to pause and go, what was I just thinking about? Why did they show me that? And normally I tend to rely on my clairsentient most of the time, which is a clear feeling. But I found over time that if I got too focused on what I was feeling, I would miss the vision or I would miss hearing something. So that's why I always teach paying attention to what comes through first, but then not harping on it. I do have my free ebook. If you haven't checked it out, Is It a Sign? You can sign up for my free newsletter at devonduerr.com and get my ebook, Is It a Sign? That gives you 5 questions to ask when you think you've seen the sign. So example here was, I was getting a feeling that something needed to shift with my monthly angel messages, but I wasn't quite getting a visual. Okay, so we're not going to do all 12 signs for the May meeting messages, because we're going to do that for the community members. What are you wanting me to do? And that's when they showed me this spread. They said they wanted me to pull cards for this particular month from the past life deck, from the relationship deck, and from the angel answer deck. Okay, these are all decks by Doreen Virtue, and I love these decks so much. I've had them for years. But I don't read literally. These are just an extension of me. So we're going to see what's coming up for us. This is going to help us with our relationships. One of the things I want you to do while we're going through this relationship reading is pay attention to any person that pops in your mind as I'm talking about these messages, but it could also be people from your past. It could be people, it could be your relationship to a project that's being affected by a person in your life. So that's why I was talking earlier about your external factors with the overall energy. One of the things I want you to also do is just write it all down. Make sure you're writing everything down in your journal, but also try not to overanalyze when it first comes through. One of the messages that came through for me when I was communicating with my spiritual team before recording these messages was the fact that we are going to have past life issues coming up in May. Now, why is that? I can't particularly point to a certain transit. The only thing that was really coming through, if I was going to do that, was maybe the Saturn energy moving into, since we're revisiting that cycle of Saturn moving into Aries, which is the very beginning of the zodiac. But really, it was just more that I think we're just going into this time of nostalgia right now in the month of May. So we may have things coming up from our past. So I want you to think about that too. You may have dreams about somebody you haven't thought of in years, right? You haven't seen in years. You may have dreams about past lives. We talk a lot about past lives in the community membership as well. So let's go into these messages and see what's coming up. I'd love to hear if you're having any people from your past coming back in the this month, by the way. And thank you always for liking and sharing this video. It really means so much to me. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate it. And I love seeing your comments. Let me know how you're doing. I read every single one of your comments. All right, let's go over here. We've got the very first card coming up in this first row. We have the Orphan card coming up. I'm going to be going from here to here, and then we're going to be pulling it all together. We have the Orphan card coming up. Then we have the Relationship deck card next, which is the Healing Family Issues. Okay, we're going to pull all this together, but it's already starting to come through. Your Love Life Benefits as you forgive your parents. Okay, and then we have the Angel Answer card, Not the Right Time. All right, so I'm going to give you an initial glance at this. We will be pulling all of these cards together. But the first thing I'm seeing here is there is something from your past where you felt abandoned, specifically regarding something with your parents. Now, it doesn't mean that you had a negative relationship with your parents. Maybe you did, but it's something that your heart really wanted that you did not feel supported, that you didn't feel like your parents supported you in that. And it feels like if you were to understand the reason you went through that, then that would help you move forward with these new projects and this new self-discovery. Of course, we are going to be pulling this all together, but since we've already been asked to hold space for self-discovery and learning something new, it is about reflecting on your past, your childhood, your relationship with your parents. If you didn't have a good relationship with your parents, we literally have the Orphan card here. Maybe you didn't grow up with your own biological parents, but there's something from your past there that needs to be healed in order to move forward with your current relationships. And what the Not the Right Time card is, it means it's not the right time to take action on something that doesn't feel right. We're going to pull it through again a little more, but it feels what I'm getting, the image they're showing me, remember I tend to get a lot of visuals, is trying to force a square peg through a round hole. There's something you're trying to force to happen, and it's not happening because you still have to heal these issues from your past where you felt abandoned. You know, the thing about the Orphan card too is it may have been totally innocent, that your parents had no idea they were making you feel orphaned or abandoned on this particular topic. I know for me personally, when I was going through college and I was graduating with my accounting degree, I realized I didn't want to go into accounting. I had received a job offer from a prestigious big accounting firm with a good salary to start, but my heart was not in it. I didn't want to do it. And even though my parents always love and support me, I could tell that they didn't support my feelings on this particular topic to not go in that direction. So it was something I had to work through and understand. So it could be something like a topic, a job you didn't take, a relationship that they didn't support, something going on there. And this is about relationships. So let's see what else we have coming up. We're going to pull all of this together and get a lot of clarity. And don't forget, we will definitely get to your bonus messages and actions to take. So the next card we have is Finances. Well, interesting, because I was just talking about not being supported in a career by a family member. So maybe there is something where you're choosing to go into a different direction. You're choosing to invest in something, or you're choosing to change careers and you're not feeling supported. So let's see what else is coming up in your relationships here. We have It is safe for you to love. Open your heart to the possibility to give and receive highest energy of all. Okay, I love where this location is in this spread here. Let me switch back so I can show you moving forward. It will be safe for you to invest in this relationship, this project, this career change, this legacy. Maybe if you're retired, you're investing in a retirement home, or you're starting to do a project that's going to help others. But we first got to work on this healing. And then let's see what we have for the answer card here. We have if you believe. All right. So it's pulling all this together, it makes it pretty obvious. You're worried about material resources and investing in something, but it's safe for you to trust where your heart is leading you. If you believe in where you're going, if you really believe that you are here to bring something into the world that helps others, that shares your light, this is going to help you move away from that fear around material resources and move into the energy you want to go. There just may need to be some healing from the past where you felt abandoned. It could even be for some of you where you felt like you abandoned yourself in a relationship. I know many people who have gone through that. We all do it one point or another. We tend to abandon what it is that our heart wants for someone we love because we care about them and we want to be there for them. But it's going to be important that you are not abandoning your heart with what you want and you are investing in this future. So let's see what's coming up here in the third past life card. We have biblical. All right, so what I'm getting here is there is something from your past regarding religion that has also held you back from investing in what you really want, because it feels like it's going against what the written word is, what you were taught to do. For some of you, this could be you actually did have past lives during the time that the Bible was being written, and you are still restrained by some of the energies from there. So let's go a little bit deeper into your relationship so we can clarify all this. And of course, with the bonus messages, we will too. Unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep the relationship going. For most of us listening to these messages, this means that you have been holding on to your beliefs from the past. Remember, we have the if you believe card. You are holding on to your beliefs from the past a little too tightly, and that's what's holding you back. So maybe it was the religion you were born into, told you had to do things a certain way, but it's not giving back to you the way it used to. And that's an important thing to think about, is your beliefs. Do you feel at home in your beliefs? If you don't feel like when you really believe in something that you get something back, then that's why you would get that unrequited love card. So let's get the final answer card here, and then we'll go into your bonus messages. Get more information. This is validating everything that we talked about in the Celtic Cross about following your heart, making time for self-discovery, and doing your research. So it's really important in May that you are doing your research, you're responding, not reacting to things, because we don't want to end up in a situation where we're acting at the wrong time. We're forcing that square peg through the round hole. So take your time and believe in yourself. One of the things that I'm definitely getting for all of us here watching these messages is it's going to be important to reassess your belief system. Look back on what you really believe about yourself, what you were taught from the time you were a child to now. What no longer resonates with you? What is it time to release? We had that Queen of Air card for the present energy. It's time to actually put into words or put into writing what you believe. Focus on what you believe now. Start following that, and then releasing the things from the past that really are from the old times. Basically, that's why I don't read literally, I read intuitively. But when I see biblical here, they're talking about things from the past that are they're not reciprocating, right? It's old beliefs that are not reciprocating. So get more information on something, and maybe your beliefs about what it's like to take action on something are no longer true. Like maybe you believe that if you moved to Florida, it was going to cost you a bunch of money that you don't have right now. And then you start doing some research and you find, oh, there's ways that I could do this where it's not going to be so expensive. I can do some house sitting. I can do some other things to help me get where I want to go. So that giving and receiving cycle is going to be really valuable here when you're doing your research, looking for things that give back, right? It makes your heart soar. So I love that for these messages here. Let's pop over to the bonus messages here, and this is where I like to do action messages. And again, thank you so much for hitting the like button and sharing this video with anybody it resonates with. I really, really appreciate it. I do want to remind you that you're here because you're part of this group of amazing light workers, and it's really important to honor your gifts you're bringing to the world. All right, so these are going to be my classic spread that I always do. All right. So coming off of that reading about relationships, it's going to be really important that we're thinking about relationships that give back, right? So this is going to be present, near future, future, and 2 actions to take. This is a spread my team gave me for just anytime we need a quick mini reading, and I feel like it gives fantastic action messages here. So what do we have for the present energy? We have the 3 of Earth. The power of creativity, recognition for high quality work, being a team player. So during the month of May, you want to focus on that giving and receiving cycle. You want to look for partnerships that are returning the love. You want to look for the things that you invest your time in that are returning something to you. Being that team player right now is going to be what's important. So that's why we're getting that Queen of Air card as well, where you need to speak up and say, hey, we're on the same team. Let's figure this out. Let's let go of the things that are holding us back. Let's work through this. So let's see what's coming up in the near future. We have 3 of Water. I love this. Another 3 card, a celebration, a wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. The need to have more fun. All right, so in the month of May, do you know anybody who's graduating, having a baby shower, getting married? But also, this could be for you needing to celebrate things, you needing to plan time for more fun, especially since we were getting in the challenge area that you were having a hard time finding time for yourself. You need to have more fun. You need to take that more playful approach. And this is a really powerful energy coming up in the near future. So do you have a trip planned? Do you have a celebration planned? If not, it's time to go ahead and start planning that, making time for yourself there, okay? And then we have in the future card, 7 of Earth, another 7 card. Remember we had 7 of Cups at the final outcome with the crossing, the Celtic cross. It says seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, unnecessary worry. Okay, so basically this is saying that in the future, but by taking action now on being a team player, on having these heart-to-heart conversations, you are planting the seeds for where you want to go. So you're having that heart-to-heart conversation with a loved one, a boss, a colleague, saying, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to release. Here are the things that need to happen for me to follow what my heart wants. You're doing research. You're holding space for self-discovery, and that's planting the seeds. Then there's going to be like a slowdown. We're going to have a little bit of a slowdown feeling, and that's going to actually help you with this time that you need for yourself. But don't get caught in worry like, okay, I had that conversation, but now I'm not hearing back, right? You let your boss know where you see yourself in a year from now, 3 years from now, but you're not hearing back. Just plant the seeds and trust. We don't want to get into that place of worry. So let's go into your action cards here. First card we have for action for month of May is the Magician, of course. You are ready. You have the resources, the ability to manifest them. Life is magical. I love this card because we have Pluto going retrograde, and we were talking about internal transformation, the magician within. So it's going to be really important that you are holding space for that self-discovery and see where some of your old beliefs are holding you back. It's time to move out of that energy. So let's see what your final, I love this. Your final action card is Ace of Air. Brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. Because this is an action card, it's not about it being a challenging beginning. It's about you finding the time, right? Finding the time to get these new ideas. Do self-discovery. Make sure you're spending time with your journal, asking your spiritual team for help. Do some automatic writing. Do your own angel card readings. Write down messages here and then go back, review past entries. This is going to bring you these new ideas. So this is super exciting because basically it's saying you need to take action right now at the time that you're hearing this video on a new idea, but then you need to be willing to plant the seeds, meaning having these heart-to-heart conversations, taking an online class or an in-person class to advance your skills, releasing relationships that are not serving you, taking that action, and then focusing on relationships that offer that giving and receiving cycle. This could simply mean you're not getting anything out of the current work you're doing, class you're taking, group of people you're spending time with. It's time to find something that gives back. So I absolutely love this for your angel messages. Let me pull that up here one more time. These are going to be really powerful to get started on at the time you're hearing these messages. And I want you to remember that your spiritual team is always with you. Your spiritual team is waiting for you to open up and receive the messages that are coming in for you. You do develop your own language with your spiritual team. So get started right now by tracking all these messages that you got here today. And I will see you very soon again. Thank you for being here. And remember, take time every day to connect with the angels.